Pope Francis, Life, Leadership, and Legacy. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. Since his election on March 13, 2013, he has represented a profound shift in the papacy, a bridge between tradition and reform. He is the first Jesuit pope, the first from the Americas, and the first non-European pope in more than 100 to 200 years. His leadership has focused on humility, social justice, environmental responsibility, and institutional reform. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born on December 17, 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He grew up in a middle-class family of Italian descent. His father, Mario José Bergoglio, was a railway worker, and his mother, Arexine Egina Maria Sivori, was a homemaker. The eldest of 5 children, he experienced an upbringing grounded in discipline, faith, and modesty. In his youth, he developed an interest in chemistry and studied at a technical secondary school. He later worked briefly in a food laboratory before deciding to enter religious life. In 1958, he joined the Society of Jesus, a Catholic religious order known for its commitment to education, intellectual rigor, and missionary work. His studies included philosophy, literature, psychology, and theology. He earned degrees in theology and philosophy and was ordained a priest in 1969. From early in his clerical career, Bergoglio displayed a strong sense of pastoral care and simplicity. He served as a teacher, novice master, and eventually provincial superior of the Jesuits in Argentina during a turbulent era in the country's history. This period, known as the Dirty War, was marked by state punishment, violence, and repression. Bergoglio's role during this time remains the subject of debate. Some allege that he could have done more to oppose the regime, while others highlight his discreet efforts to protect individuals targeted by the military dictatorship. Regardless, no formal charges were ever brought against him. After stepping back from leadership roles within the Jesuit order, he was appointed Auxiliary Bishop of Buenos Aires in 1992 and later became Archbishop in 1998. In 2001, Pope John Paul II elevated him to Cardinal. As Archbishop of Buenos Aires, he became known for his humility and close connection to the poor. He rejected the ornate Archbishop's palace, choosing instead to live in a modest apartment, cook his own meals, and travel by bus. His pastoral focus on marginalized communities, economic inequality, and spiritual authenticity set him apart. On February 28, 2013, Pope Benedict XVI shocked the world by resigning due to declining health. A papal conclave convened soon after. On March 13, 2013, white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel, signaling the election of a new pope. When Cardinal Jean-Louis Touron announced Habemus Papam, the name that followed was unfamiliar to many. Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Upon his election, he took the name Francis, honoring Saint Francis of Assisi, the patron of peace, the poor, and creation. The choice was deeply symbolic, indicating a vision for a humbler, more service-oriented papacy. From the outset, Pope Francis departed from tradition. Instead of delivering a long speech, he greeted the crowd in St. Peter's Square with a simple "good evening" and humbly asked them to pray for him before he gave his first blessing. His tone was set. Francis emphasized mercy, compassion, and the Church's role as a healing presence in the world. His first major document, Evangelia Gaudium, released in 2013, called for a missionary church that reaches out to the peripheries of society and stands with the marginalized. He criticized what he called the economy of exclusion, urging Catholics to care for the poor and to reject consumerism and economic systems that disregard human dignity. In 2015, he released Laudato Si, a groundbreaking encyclical on the environment and human ecology. It called attention to climate change, pollution, and the exploitation of the Earth's resources. Francis framed environmental stewardship as a moral and spiritual issue, emphasizing that the planet is our common home. The encyclical was praised by scientists, activists, and leaders around the world, regardless of religious affiliation. Throughout his papacy, Francis has made efforts to reform the Vatican's administrative structure, known as the Roman Curia. He has aimed to reduce corruption, improve financial transparency, and decentralize decision-making. His changes have faced internal resistance, but reflect his long-term vision of a more pastoral, less bureaucratic church. Another major theme of his leadership is the Church's response to the sexual abuse crisis. Francis has implemented new protocols, launched investigations, and met with survivors. While some praise his steps toward accountability, others argue the Church still has far to go in ensuring justice and healing. Francis's approach to divisive social issues has also drawn global attention. He has expressed compassion toward divorced and remarried Catholics, LGBTQ+ individuals, and others often marginalized by the Church. While upholding traditional doctrines, he emphasizes pastoral care over legalism. His phrase, "Who am I to judge?" regarding gay priests became one of the most quoted remarks of his papacy. He has discouraged culture wars within the Church, urging dialogue and understanding instead. Francis's travels have further demonstrated his commitment to outreach and peacebuilding. He has visited over 50 countries, including war-torn regions and underserved communities. Notable trips include his 2015 visit to the United States, where he addressed Congress and the United Nations, his 2019 visit to the United Arab Emirates, the first papal visit to the Arabian Peninsula, and his 2021 trip to Iraq, where he met with religious leaders and urged reconciliation after years of conflict. His visits often include unscheduled stops at orphanages, refugee camps, and prisons. Pope Francis maintains a personal style marked by informality and humility. He resides in the Casa Santa Marta guest house rather than the traditional apostolic palace. He wears simple white garments and uses a plain iron cross instead of a jeweled one. His papal vehicle is often a modest Fiat or Ford Focus. He communicates regularly through social media and has published books, interviews, and reflections aimed at broad audiences. While admired for his humanity and courage, Francis has faced criticism, particularly from conservative factions within the Church. Some argue that his language lacks theological clarity, while others view his approach as too accommodating to secular culture. Several cardinals and bishops have openly questioned his decisions, yet, despite tensions, Pope Francis remains a globally respected figure, consistently ranked among the most influential people in the world. His voice carries weight on issues ranging from climate change to migration, from religious freedom to economic ethics. His emphasis on global solidarity resonates in an era of division and inequality. Health concerns have become more prominent in recent years. In 2021, he underwent surgery for colon diverticulitis and has since experienced mobility challenges, often using a wheelchair. Nevertheless, he continues to maintain a rigorous schedule and speaks publicly about the possibility of resignation. Following the precedent set by Benedict XVI, Francis has named numerous cardinals from countries previously underrepresented in the Vatican hierarchy, ensuring that future papal elections will reflect the Church's global character. On April 21, 2025, Pope Francis passed away at his residence, Casa Santa Marta in Vatican City, after suffering a stroke that led to a coma and irreversible heart failure. He was 88 years old. His body lay in state at St. Peter's Basilica from April 23 to April 25, 2025, allowing the faithful to pay their final respects. Over 250,000 people from around the world came to honor and mourn the passing of a humble and compassionate pope. The official funeral mass was celebrated on April 26, 2025, in St. Peter's Square, presided over by Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re. Fulfilling his personal wish for simplicity, Pope Francis was laid to rest at the Basilica of St. Mary Major, Santa Maria in Rome, a site closely associated with his deep devotion to the Virgin Mary throughout his life. The legacy Pope Francis leaves behind is one of a Catholic Church more closely aligned with the poor, the marginalized, and those seeking mercy. He reshaped the papacy into a symbol of humility, interfaith dialogue, social justice, and environmental responsibility. To many, he is remembered not only as the Pope of his era, but also as a global symbol of hope, reconciliation, and compassion in a divided world.